So then we lead over to the second theme in the book, which is all about engagement. So when we talk about engagement here, again, what do you think the key trends are, or what are the experiences that are going to push us further in this direction?
I think that on the mobile advertising space, definitely, I mean, first, advertising will not translate on mobile the way it translated on the web, or it was deployed on the web. You see models on mobile that are much more CPA based rather than CPM. On the search side, I think that mobile is all about searching from the real world. So I believe it's what you have. It's the shops, it's the streets, it's the where you are, what you do, the context you do. That because it's with you. So it's really suddenly you're part of the world, and you can and it's where you start from. It's not like you don't go online, okay, because you're on your mobile. You're not online as on with the desktop internet. You're suddenly part of a much larger thing that is very much is in the real world as well. So it's not just internet as we knew it.
And then also, if you look at the executives that we had in the book, we had Ogilvy, we had Sponge, we had people in the advertising industry, we had people in CRM. So it's much, much more about the customer experience, engaging the customer, but having that feedback loop. Now that feedback loop is going to be a dialogue. It's either probably going to be text. There are probably other ways to do it. What again does that create in the way of challenges, and what is Netsize going to do to find the solutions?
One of our customers, we run, we try to innovate, and we were able to have people line up at before the opening of stores in the morning, simply because some of the information they received that was tailored to their needs drove them to come to the store. And with stores across several countries in Europe, there were lines of tens or hundreds of people that just wanted to get or grab what the retailer had to offer. And I believe that it's a new way you really define who you are, because of you can really link and understand what people bought, and you can really tailor the information you deliver to those people. So it's a whole new, in my opinion, it's the ultimate one-to-one experience. Okay, because it's also not so much internet or TV where you broadcast, or even if you go on a more niche TV station, you still broadcast, still general information you're delivering. Here you can really say, well, here's a product indeed for you, as you just said, and not for the masses. It's for you. And you also, as a user, as a consumer, you can give a feedback and really have the retailers or the brand then understand better what you're looking for. And I think it's very important, and it will drive a shift of the spending in advertising, a shift towards mobile.
What are the key criteria then for you for a good mobile advertising experience?
We see a lot of brands trialing things, quite rightly, but I think they need to do this under a strategy. And we have a strategy at Ogilvy called Engage, Acquire, Activate. And Engage covers every way that a consumer can conceivably interact with a brand via the mobile. And acquire is what happens after they interact with us. So we get their data, but what do we do with that? And basically, if you're going to open the door, you should be ready to respond. It's a bit like building a club or a radio station, really, and you can broadcast to the people that you acquire. And then activate is the final bit, really. How do you activate whatever the brand's objectives are on the end of the work you're doing? So we have this strategy for our clients called Engage, Acquire, Activate.
Maybe you can give me an example of a brand that gets it, or maybe a very cool advertising campaign that shows us how this can be in a best case.
Oh, sure. We've got a few. I mean, Fanta is a brand that's very, very keen and innovative. And we recently developed a mobile application for Fanta called the Fanta Stealth Sound System. And basically, if you've got a TV ad here and a computer game here, mobile ads are something in the middle. They're a TV ad you can play with, press the buttons. And the Fanta Stealth Sound System is a little application with 8 sounds in it, like a wharf whistle. Come here, good, bad, yes, no, warning, and they're made up, funnily, of frequencies that adults can't hear. So there's a bunch of frequency ranges called the mosquito frequencies that only children can hear, or people under the age of 25. So we've made this little application around those things, so kids can now communicate and play, without adults getting in the way. But within Engage, Acquire, Activate, the way that sits is obviously we put this application on all cans. So you can text in or write an email, a WAP address from a can and get the application. So they engage with the brand, we give them the application, and then when we acquire their data, we talk to them about other things, we can then maybe send them some information, some news, something they like, and then maybe send them a 2-for-1 next time, or a voucher to get more of the product. But underneath Engage, Acquire, Activate, we put permission, privacy and preference. So we make sure that we get their permission, and we make sure that they know that we have their privacy, so they know what data we have and how we're going to use it, and they're happy with that. And then finally, preference. So we will send a message to say, hey, did you like this? On a rate of 1 to 5, are we giving you the kind of things that you're interested in? And when you wrap all of that up in a strategy, you have something with huge power to deal with brand objectives.
How important is engagement in mobile advertising? We hear about targeting and relevancy. Is that the key thing this year?
Absolutely. For us, it's extremely important, and also for our customers. In our case, sometimes we execute campaigns for the operators, and the goal is to drive as many messages as possible from the users. And to do that, you have to engage them, of course, with relevant content. And in the case of the agencies, or particularly the brands coming through the agencies, depending on what their objectives are, we really need to focus the campaign based on that. And of course the profile or whatever segmentation information we have, or in some cases we actually build that and help them build that information. I think all the information it's sitting there in the network and in the operator. The problem is it's in disparate machines and parts of the network. And what we're able to do is either take whatever they can give us and leverage that, or build it ourselves by collecting profile information. Whenever we do a campaign, depending on the questions that we ask and the answers we receive to those questions, we're able to segment these users more and more, and then leverage that. Yeah.
What about the drivers to your own business at Velchan?
What we're seeing is there's a sort of a shift from spend in traditional media, radio and television. I mean, who watches the television these days? I mean, some people watch television, but especially in the youth demographic, they're scattered. They're looking at the mobile phone or at their computer screen.
Well, mobile advertising is going on away with display. It's also on messaging. It's also in Bluetooth. It's going also in a lot of geolocalization. So you have a lot of tools, marketing tools, where it can go.
So some of the topics, the themes within the Netsize Guide are about engagement, which is very relevant to advertising, because we're talking about how it needs to engage the consumer, needs to be relevant, needs to be targeted. You're talking about location, a lot of things in context. What do you see as the key criteria of a good advertising experience on mobile?
I will say personalization, content, and yes, personalization and content. That's the key. And targeting, because if you have personalization, you need to target. I would say the two big brands who make a lot of advertising and understand mobile, it's Coca-Cola and Microsoft. They already utilize all the kind of tools of marketing. They already make display banners, they already make Bluetooth, they already make shortcodes, they already push. They have database, they know how to personalize. They're working with operator. So the two big brands already on the market, I would say.
There's also another trend at play here, is increasingly that advertising has to be content.
Content is key. If you don't put the content that is relevant for the user, it's not functioning. And mobile is very engaging and it's very personal. So you have to target very well and give the content that they need at the moment and on the context that they need. So that's the key, and the only media that can do that is mobile.
What role does the operator play for you in this?
For us, obviously, it has a key role, but not only operate, because we're actually in the let's say on the boundary between the media world and the broadcasters and the mobile operators, and we see that if there's a business model where the two industries basically cooperate with each other, you'll see a much quicker uptake on services. I think what's the challenge is still, especially if you look at, let's say, things like mobile TV, is the business model. Who's in charge, who's owning the customer, whether it's the mobile operator or the broadcasters. And that's really where these two, let's say, groups need to come together and agree on a business model in terms of revenue sharing, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's where the challenge is.